Hello everybody, my name is Shawheen and this is my story of how I came to know Jesus. So my religious background, I wasn't born in the church or anything like that, so my religious background was pretty open. None of my parents were particularly religious, although on my dad's side of the family, I did have a lot of Christians. And kind of throughout my middle school and teen years, my dad actually found Islam, and I would go to a mosque often with him, but it didn't really seem appealing to me, and I just tried to stay away from it. And then, I went to high school, didn't think much about God, and then I had graduated high school, and I went to Texas for one of my cousin's weddings, and kind of I saw the relationship that my cousin had with her fiance, and just their relationship and the way that they cared for each other, and they were Christian, really made me think that this is really something that their relationship really glorified God, and made me think that this may have been something that God had put together. And so a combination of that and just growing older, and God is something that you should have an opinion on. So I had decided to look into it and kind of decide what is going to be my opinion on God. So I got home from that trip from Texas, and I just kind of jumped into it head first. I started reading the Bible, picked it up right in Genesis and just read all the way through. But started in Genesis and watching lots of research videos and evidence for God. So I took it very systematically. So I started with, okay, is God real? And finding evidence to support that. Red Sea crossing, lots of stuff like that to support that God is real. And then moving on to, okay, so God is real now, so how does he want me to serve him? Because he's all-powerful, almighty, how do I serve him? So kind of reading through the Bible, doing lots of research as I would go, watching the Bible Project and lots of informational videos. And I had reached about the Psalms in April. So I had started in around September, and then April of the next year I had reached the Psalms. And I was kind of burning out, and I was going on a ski trip with my uncle Scott. And as I was leaving the ski trip, he hands me a copy of the New Testament. He's like, here, it's a useful thing. You should look into it and read it. And I was like, oh, thanks. I've been reading the Old Testament, but I'll definitely dive into this. And I think he was a little bit surprised, but it was good. So I got home, and I was a little burnt out on the Old Testament. So I just picked up the New Testament and started reading through, and I was just totally captivated by Jesus' character. And just the scripture itself is so motivating on how we should live our lives. There's a lot of truth there, which was really kind of drew my interest. So then it was verifying whether Jesus was a real person and whether he had really risen from the dead. And after about 2 weeks of researching on whether Jesus was real and the sources for whether he had risen, I had made the decision that I want to follow Jesus. And it was great. So from there, I went on to tell my family that I wanted to get baptized. And they were a little bit shocked at first, but they slowly grew to the idea, and they were happy for me, very accepting, which I'm very thankful for. And my uncle, so when he gave me my New Testament, he also sent me the address for Campbell Church of Christ to kind of come and check it out. So one morning, I had decided to go to a church in my neighborhood, but they were closed. And I was like, okay, well, I could go to Campbell Church of Christ. This is where my uncle recommended me. And I showed up, and I had talked to some people, and I told them, yes, my uncle Scott recommended me. And, Scott from our church walks over, and he's like, he gave me this look like, I don't know who you are. But yeah, so then I got plugged into the church, and everybody was so friendly and kind. And me and my girlfriend Eden started a Bible study with Sean. And just I think it was a Friday evening or Saturday evening, and I texted Sean like, hey, I want to get baptized on Sunday. He's like, yes, let's do it. We got baptized, and I'm so happy that that I know Jesus, and that's my story.